Welcome to the Silicon Fox podcast, where we explore the habits and stories of high performers. Join us as we dive into their journeys, analyze live blood tests, and break down the science behind key biomarkers to help you optimize your health. I'm your host, Mitchell Eschner, an ex-pro soccer player, a current sponsored hybrid athlete, a health tech founder, and a longevity enthusiast. Today, we're diving deep into dietary fats, particularly monounsaturated and polyunsaturated fats. It's well known that saturated fat, the kind found in buttercream, fatty cuts of meat, and certain tropical oils, is linked to a wide range of negative health outcomes. High intake of saturated fat is associated with increased levels of LDL cholesterol, a major driver of atherosclerosis. It has been linked to elevated blood pressure, increased risk of coronary artery disease, stroke, and even sometimes types of cancer. Numerous studies, including large cohort analysis, have shown that diets rich in saturated fat contribute to systemic inflammation, insulin resistance, and obesity. As a result, nearly every major health organization recommends replacing saturated fat with unsaturated fat. But that recommendation raises a critical question. Which type of unsaturated fat is better for health and longevity? Unsaturated fats come in two main types: monounsaturated fatty acids, MUFAs, and polyunsaturated fatty acids, PUFAs. Both are liquid at room temperature due to the presence of one or more double bonds in their chemical structure. However, the differences go far beyond chemistry. MUFAs contain a single double bond and can be synthesized by the human body. They're found in foods like olive oil, avocado, nuts, and sesame oil. PUFAs, on the other hand, have multiple double bonds and are considered essential fats because the body can't make them. They must be obtained from the diet, and they include both omega-3 and omega-6 fatty acids, found in fatty fish, flax seeds, walnuts, and seed oils like corn and soybean oil. When we talk about heart health, both MUFAs and PUFAs have benefits, especially when they replace saturated fats in the diet. MUFAs have been shown to help lower LDL cholesterol, also known as bad cholesterol, and they do this by increasing how actively the liver clears LDL from the bloodstream. Originally, scientists thought only PUFAs had this effect, but newer studies have shown MUFAs are effective too. When it comes to triglycerides, another key blood fat linked to heart disease, PUFAs seem to have the advantage. Particularly omega-3 PUFAs like EPA and DHA are known to lower triglyceride levels, and they do this more consistently than with diets rich in MUFAs. This likely has to do with how these fats are metabolized and processed by the body. Now, looking at HDL cholesterol, often called the good cholesterol, here MUFAs may come out slightly ahead. Some research shows that MUFA-rich diets tend to maintain or even increase HDL levels, while PUFA-heavy diets, particularly high in omega-6s, may slightly lower HDL. While that drop isn't always a big deal, higher HDL is generally considered protective. As for overall cardiovascular disease risk, both fats offer protection. Studies show replacing saturated fat with PUFAs can cut the risk of heart disease by around 30%. MUFAs are also protective, though the benefit may be slightly less pronounced. But importantly, where these fats come from matters. One study showed an increase of heart disease with high MUFA intake, but that was mostly from animal fats. MUFAs from plant sources like olive oil did not have the same risk. This highlight shows how the food matrix and dietary patterns, not just individual nutrients, play a big role in outcomes. When it comes to blood sugar and insulin, MUFAs are generally a good bet. They've been shown to improve how the body responds to insulin and are associated with lower inflammation and reduced fat storage compared to saturated fats. This makes them helpful in preventing or managing type 2 diabetes. PUFAs, however, are a bit more complicated. Omega-3s tend to be beneficial for insulin sensitivity and inflammation, but omega-6s, especially when consumed in high amounts relative to omega-3s, have been linked to higher insulin levels and more fat storage in some studies. Animal research suggests that an imbalanced omega-6 to omega-3 ratio may trigger inflammation and insulin resistance. Interestingly, adjusting that ratio to something closer to 1-to-1 or 2-to-1 has been shown to improve insulin sensitivity and reduce inflammation markers. When we look at inflammation, MUFAs again stand out. Oleic acid, the main MUFA in olive oil, has been shown to calm inflammation. Some research even suggests that when the body doesn't produce enough MUFAs, inflammation and even tumor growth can increase, but that can be reversed by supplementing with oleic acid. Omega-3s, PUFAs, are also strongly anti-inflammatory, helping to block inflammatory pathways and reduce cytokine levels. Omega-6s, on the other hand, can do the opposite. They're used to make compounds which can ramp up inflammation. So again, it's not about avoiding omega-6s completely. It's about keeping them in balance with omega-3s. In terms of weight control, MUFAs may help people feel fuller after meals and even boost how many calories they burn. That could support healthy weight management. PUFAs are a mixed bag. Omega-3s might help reduce fat in some people, but high omega-6 intake has been linked to obesity in both human and animal research. That may be due to how omega-6s are stored and how they affect appetite metabolism. To put it in perspective, canola oil, a common seed oil found on the supermarket shelves and in restaurants, has an omega-6 to omega-3 ratio of approximately 6-to-1. Sesame oil is approximately 40-to-1. Corn oil is 50-to-1. These are staggering ratios and are recommended to be taken into account before trying any of these oils for frying. Are you a health coach or running a health course and looking to level up your client's experience? With Cyox Health at-home blood test, you can deliver lab-quality blood work right to your client's door. Seamlessly ship samples back for fast and actionable results. Personalize every consult with the data that matters. Clients who complete a Cyox test are 60% more likely to enroll in a paid program after their consult compared to those who only join a sales call. If you're ready to give your clients the edge, go to cyfoxhealth.com/partner. And as a Silicon Fox podcast listener, enjoy 10% off your first bulk order. In the brain, both types of fat have important roles. Omega-3 PUFAs, especially EPA and DHA, are vital for brain development, nerve function, and maintaining healthy brain cells. They're involved in making cell membranes more fluid and improving how signals are transmitted in the brain. That said, too much omega-6, especially if it's not balanced with omega-3, has been linked to lower executive function in some studies. Some research believes that a high omega-6 intake may increase the risk of cognitive decline or even dementia over time. Interestingly, amylase haven't been as studied deeply in this area, but they are a big part of Mediterranean diet, which is consistently linked to better brain function and lower dementia risk. So while we don't have as much direct evidence, it's likely that amylase support cognitive health too. When we talk about mood and mental health, omega-3s are the standout PUFAs. EPA-rich omega-3 supplements have shown moderate improvements in depression, particularly if you have people diagnosed with mood disorders. DHA, another omega-3, hasn't shown the same level of benefit. Amylase haven't been studied as extensively here, but again, diets rich in olive oil and nuts, like the Mediterranean diet, are linked with better mood and lower depression rates. More research is needed, but the association is promising. On a cellular level, amylase help build more rigid and stable cell membranes, and they also protect against oxidative stress. They're less likely to break down and form harmful compounds. Amylase also activate longevity-related pathways and promote the burning of fat for energy. In some contexts, though, they might support cell growth and proliferation, which could be a concern in certain types of cancers. PUFAs, with their multiple double bonds, make cell membranes more fluid and help regulate immune signals. They also serve as the starting material for important signaling molecules, some that fight inflammation and some that promote it, depending on whether they come from omega-3 or omega-6 fats. Their effects on pathway ties directly to immune function, inflammation, and metabolism. So now, what does all this comparison mean for you? First, avoid oversimplification. Both amylase and PUFAs have important and distinct roles in human health. However, the source, balance, and context of these fats matter greatly. Prioritize amylase from plant sources such as extra virgin olive oil, avocados, and nuts. These are consistently associated with better metabolic, cardiovascular, and cognitive outcomes. Incorporate omega-3 rich PUFAs from fatty fish, flaxseed, and walnuts. These provide anti-inflammatory benefits and support brain and mental health. Limit omega-6 rich seed oils, corn, soybean, safflower, especially if your omega-3 intake is low. A high omega-6 to omega-3 ratio may promote inflammation, insulin resistance, and weight gain. Focus on whole foods, not just isolated fats. Amylase and PUFAs consumed as part of a Mediterranean-style diet yield more robust benefits than when consumed in isolation. Avoid trans fats and minimize saturated fat, particularly from processed or industrial sources. In conclusion, the real key lies in replacing saturated fats with the right kinds of unsaturated fats, and doing so in a balanced, whole food dietary pattern. Amylase and PUFAs each offer unique benefits, but not all sources are equal. Tailoring your fat intake with awareness of these distinctions may be one of the most important, powerful levers you can pull for longevity. Thank you for tuning in today. I hope you've gained some insight into this health habit. If you found this episode helpful, be sure to subscribe and share it with others who might benefit. And as always, I encourage you to take charge of your health by staying informed and being proactive about your body signals. Thank you, and we'll see you next time on the Silicon Fox podcast.